Happy Easter, everyone. Eat, drink, and be merry. I hope you have a wonderful time with your family, friends, whatever you're doing. I've got to be honest with you. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go shopping. I don't want to travel. I want to sit on the couch and watch TV and eat delicious grilled lamb chops, which I'll be doing tomorrow. And I've got to find a spot in my garden, though there's part of my garden where it's sheltered because I've got to do my barbecue there because it's just raining. And I'm looking forward to grilling my lamb chops, having my salad, drinking, and I just want to sit in front of the TV. I've got to go out and do some final bits of shopping, and I really don't want to go out there. I cannot be bothered, and I'm having a bit of a rant. Um, I thought I'd have a lot to say today, but I'm going through one of these periods where I'm just feeling my anxiety is getting the better of me. And I'm kind of just don't want to do anything. I'm just feeling very, very lazy, and I just want to have a lazy Easter. Um, I was allowing, the other day I let my mum listen to some of the voicemails that Bam sent me, particularly the one where Bam claims that she she contacted the FBI, and the FBI apparently, according to Bam, told her to hold her findings for the home experiments that she'd done. Sounds so bizarre and absurd. And I haven't told my mum the full story of Bam yet. I haven't told my mum what Bam was doing behind the scenes, that she was recording people's phone calls and playing these recordings to other friends. I haven't told her everything. I just can't bring myself to tell her yet. So she still doesn't know everything about what Bam was up to. Um, and I let my mum listen to this particular recording, and my mum said that woman is a pathological liar. And that's the truth. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's the truth. I've had time to digest everything. I've had time to reflect on everything, and to realize what she was. And you go through different stages when you're going through a process in your mind of how you feel about something. And my mind has fully digested what she was, and my heart goes out to her family. I respect them. I do believe that Bam was a good mother, but ultimately, by the time I started to, I forgot to tell you this. There's actually, do you know that RedX, which is a channel on YouTube that used to be associated with the D-Man, did an interview with Bam about 2 years ago. I listened to this interview a few months ago, and I was meant to bring it up. And this is before Bam had her break. Like I said, I believe that she was in decline in every single way, and that meant, mentally as well. She did an interview on RedX, right? And in this interview, Bam came across very well. She came across level-headed, rational, somewhat intelligent. This was before her decline. And listening to that interview, I shake my head and I think to myself, how did she go from that to what she became in the end? And it's just one of those things. People change. People start out. She did the same song and dance with everybody. She started out nice. She was friendly. And then, if she found that she couldn't use you for something, if she found that you weren't useful to her agenda, she would, turn on you. And some of the people she turned on didn't know that she no longer liked them, and she probably kept certain people around because she thought that they were useful to her. But I have to come to terms with what she was and what she is. And, for the most part, I don't regret my association with her because it was a learning experience for me. I learned a lot from it. In a lot of situations, people start out nice. It's like when people get married, even with Watt's case, it started out wonderful, didn't it? Shanann and Chris, they got married. Everything started out wonderful. And it was wonderful for a while. And then things change. And this is the process of life. This is the nature of life. this is what happened, and I have to come to terms with what she was. And yes, Claire Morgan wasn't a lawyer, but she definitely wasn't a lawyer. But Bam used that. Bam used that to to say things like people were coming to her house with flashlights, and that was all nonsense. And also the nonsense that people were saying things about her GS, which that's the abbreviation I'm going to use. That was all nonsense as well. Amber was completely right about Bam. She was completely right about Bam. Bam didn't like anyone saying anything about her family, but she was more than happy to talk about other people's family. She was more than happy and willing to talk about Amber's daughter, to talk about Shanann, who was the daughter of the Ruzeks. She was more than happy to run her mouth about other people's family while saying all the time, don't talk about my family. So in the end, some people would say, well, you reap what you sow. Some people would say that. So I guess I just better just let it all out. It is raining like raining men outside. Okay, this is the weekend washout England weather. Typical England weather is rain. I realize that I have to leave this country, and I'm going to tell you the reasons why. Perhaps in this podcast or at the end of the podcast, I have to leave the UK. If I could do it tomorrow, I would. I would love to live in Beverly Hills. Irvine is a better option, more practical option. I would love to live in Jakarta. Can't live in Jakarta because I don't know anyone there. But I imagine my Jakarta apartment in Indonesia would have a fountain in the foyer. It would be filled with Buddhas, filled with flowers and green plants, candles everywhere, and it would have a view of something. But, I'm just dreaming at the moment. So Diddy is all over. I'm going to call him Sean. Became very famous and very popular in the late 90s, early 2000s because of I'll Be Missing You, the sample track he took from Sting. Do you know that Sting is my favorite songwriter of all time? I don't think there are many better songwriters than Sting. And I'm saying this as an urban music fan. I do like other styles of music as well. I do like rock music, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I like some of Nirvana's stuff. Like one of my favorite songs from Nirvana is Something in the Way, the unplugged version. And, I don't just listen to urban music. Sting is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. Englishman in New York, great song. It's Probably Me, great song. Great guitarist, great songwriter. Every Breath You Take, Every Step I Take. That's the song that became famous for. Now he's becoming infamous for all the wrong reasons. And I can't go too much into it because do you actually know, I have to be very careful what I say on my podcast. I have to be very, very careful to keep my channel advertiser friendly. I have to switch it up and do different things. And I have to be very smart about what I say. I can't use certain words. So I'm very, I'm not as uncensored as Piers Morgan is. Not that I'm comparing myself to him. But, one day I will get a Rumble account, I guess, and become completely, I'll be more free about what I can say. But he is all over the news and headline news. And I think, well, let me just say this. I was hoping that none of this stuff was true. My mum was sending me emails a few months ago telling me that she's heard rumors about this and that. And I really dismissed anything she said. But now it's looking like there's some truth to what's going on. There is some truth. Another thing, I've been reflecting about a lot of things, but for all the people who still have their heart in the Watts case, this is a reality check for all of you. The Watts case is over. There is no new evidence. There's nothing is going to change. AD didn't change the case. There were no shadows, or at least even if there were shadows, they had nothing to do with what happened with the case. I remember AD used to say, the case is going to change and they're going to get NK and I'm going to be proven right. And There's so many things to unpack with this case, and they're going to get NK and they're going to get Jim. It's all nonsense. He was just sending you on a wild goose chase to fill his pockets. And I say that with respect to AD. Save Robbie, I notice, has become a real pillar of the crime genre. He's taken up that crime genre on YouTube. I watched a little snippet of his live stream a few days ago when he was talking about Armchair Detective and his online activities. But yeah, he looks like he's really taken the crime genre. I mean, the Watts case is only for commercial purposes now. That's it. It's for views and super chats and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that people still can't still talk about it. Of course, it's going to be a case that's talked about for many years to come. And I'm not saying people still can't question what happened in the case, but it is over. There's nothing more to see here. Weld County are not going to reopen anything. NK is never going to be where Chris is for this case. And it really is a done case. I mean, people will string you along that, there's going to be some 35C in the future if DA Rourke is no longer in office. It's a load of nonsense. And I'm just here to give you a reality check and tell you the truth. I'm all about truth. There is nothing left in the Watts case. Nothing. There's nothing that's going to change. Nothing to see. Chris is responsible for Chris and what happened. He's responsible. He's solely responsible. No one else is responsible for what happened. His parents would like to tell you otherwise, that, oh, my little Quissy boy, he didn't mean to. He would never do that. Well, Quissy boy did all that and more, and that's why he is where he is. Me and my mum are watching the Netflix documentary again. We've both seen it more than twice. And Nicole Kessinger came on the screen and my mum said, is that the woman he's pumping iron for? And I said, yes. It was all about NK in the end, but unfortunately, she's not going anywhere in terms of ending up where Chris is for this case. It's a done case. It's over. There's nothing left to see, unfortunately. For people who want to see more, it's just all gone. There's nothing left to see. Weld County are not going to go any further with this case. It is done, and it's been done for 5 years. So if you've gotten this far, well done. And I'm in two minds whether to put this at the front of the podcast, the beginning of the podcast, or to put it at the end. But anyway, I just come back from the supermarket. Oh, God. Can I tell you, shopping and grocery shopping is something that I really, really don't like doing. I'm going to admit it, I wish I could tell you how much I don't like doing it. And it was so packed because people are trying to get their last minute goods for the Easter and people don't want to go out on Good Friday. And the queues were so long and the prices, oh my God. I was going to tell you the list of things that I bought, but I won't bother. But following on from my eat in a day, I wanted to add this section in, but I was, I found it difficult to. Though I do like my sweet treats. It's not just salads and animal protein and yogurt. I do love my sweet treats. I love sticky toffee pudding, which is a British classic. This is my own version of like a sticky toffee pudding cake that I made once. And I love sorbet, particularly in the spring and summer months. I love strawberry and raspberry sorbet. It's so refreshing. It's a palate cleanser. I love it to death. And this is an almond creme caramel that I like to make in the center. It's like a caramel flan cake, almond flavor, and it's absolutely delicious and very easy to make as well. So I do like my cakes. I do like my puddings. I do like my sorbets and ice creams. I do like my sweet treats. Anyway, I'm going to finish this by talking about the royal family. And I'm going to say a little thing about Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle. Now, as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know how this is going to come across, Meghan Markle and Kate, to me, they just look very similar. I mean, Meghan Markle is just a very exotic looking version of Kate, don't you think? Or am I wrong in saying this? They're both tall and slender. They have no curves. They're both, pretty much flat up top and flat down the bottom. So they're both very attractive. I think Meghan Markle has the edge in terms of being stunning, but I think Kate is very attractive, and she can look really, really nice. I think Kate is pretty, and I think Meghan is can be really stunning. Like when she does herself up, particularly how she looked in Suits. I thought she looked like a knockout in Suits. She looked really hot in that show. So they're both very attractive. Both have long dark hair. If you were to video them, or if you were to take a photograph of them from the back, you probably wouldn't be able to tell them apart. You know, Meghan Markle is just a slightly more exotic version of Kate. That's my opinion. And Meghan Markle can do no right in the public's eyes, and all the sympathy in the world is for Kate, which, let's face it, what she's currently going through is no joke, and she deserves sympathy. However, there are lots of people who are going through what she's going through, and they're not going to get the same level of attention and sympathy that she's going to get. Another thing, I'm going to give you some reasons why I want to leave England. Do you know, if I booked an appointment with the NHS, I'd probably be in for a year-long wait. I don't think I need to go to the NHS, but if I really needed the NHS, I think if I was to book an appointment, the waiting list on the NHS in this country is very, very long. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a big problem. That's a big issue that this country is facing. And a lot of it is to do with the backlog of what happened during the COVID time, the COVID era. So that's another reason. Healthcare, the post office situation. These are other reasons why I want to leave England. The NHS, it took my mum a year to go and get herself checked for the NHS. Recently, she was able to get her appointment done, but she'd booked this appointment over a year ago. So that's just another reason. Other places that I would love to live. I would love to live in Sydney, Australia. I've got a few Australian subs who are wonderful. Sydney is a spectacular city, but I've been told that Sydney is exceptionally expensive. It is, but so is London. Miami was always, like, as a teenager, I always wanted to live in Miami. It was my first choice. I also infatuated or fantasized about living in San Francisco for a while. But San Francisco is going through so many issues right now that for San Francisco is off the table. But anyway, I'll talk to you about this more at another time. For now, happy Easter and goodbye.